New and Oz Alert sugar substitutes. You use them every day.
I'm addicted. I'm totally addicted.
Are artificial sweeteners dangerous to your health? But before you throw them away,
I have brand new information.
Is it hype or true?
That scared me.
It scared me. I don't think that you all should be guinea pigs in this experiment.
Cancer, Alzheimer's, weight gain?
Just one soda a day has been correlated to this.
Dr. Oz sets the record straight. Next.
I'm talking about the choices you make every single day in your desire to get healthy. You cut out the butter and you cut out the sugar, and you use seemingly healthy substitutes instead. Today, I have brand new information. These butter and sugar alternatives may be linked to cancer, weight gain, even Alzheimer's. So, are you at risk? Today, you'll get answers. I'm going to start by setting the record straight on artificial sweeteners. Saccharin, America's first artificial sweetener, revolutionized the American diet in the 50s when it went from being a sugar substitute for diabetics to being a godsend to dieters. Soon, other artificial sweeteners kept popping up, and today there are over half a dozen, including aspartame, sucralose, and neotame. The most common place you consume sugar substitutes is soda, but they can also be found in nearly 6,000 products sold in the U.S. They are so popular that about 15% of you use them regularly, spending $1.5 billion on artificial sweeteners every year. So today, we're answering some of your biggest questions. Do sweeteners cause cancer, weight gain, and can you be addicted? Well, today you'll get answers. I'm going to start by setting the record straight on artificial sweeteners and answer your biggest questions. Do they cause cancer? Can they cause weight gain? Are they addictive? I hear these questions all the time from you. So let's start with weight gain. They make it real simple. Yes, they absolutely can cause you to gain weight. But that's not all. There's other breaking news. New research shows that artificial sweeteners may be contributing to a nationwide epidemic. It's called Metabolic Syndrome, and it's sweeping the country. Now, I've talked about it before, but I've never made the connection to artificial sweeteners until now. Metabolic syndrome is a combination of three things. The three things that I actually fear the most about your health. It's a triple threat of high blood pressure, excess belly fat, and insulin resistance. Now, as a doctor, I could recommend ways to lower your risk, but I know it's much, much more than that. It's an emotional connection to the sweeteners, and I want to hear from you. So I want you to meet self-proclaimed artificial sweetener addict Renata and her accomplice Alicia. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
So Renata, we'll start with you. How long have you been using artificial sweeteners?
For a very long time. As soon as I started working, I'd go out late with my girlfriends. I'd go to work the next morning and eat a cup of coffee. With that, I was always battling my weight, so I wanted to not have as much sugar during the day, and I started using artificial sweeteners. Describe to me your struggle with these products. I want to understand what you're feeling when you say, I got to have something sweet in my mouth, and I don't want real sugar. Yeah, and then I drink a cup of coffee, so I have coffee all day long. And actually, if I don't, I pick cookies or whatever sweet I can get. So this is really a better alternative, or so I thought.
So you feel like you're getting away with something?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And in aggregate, how many times a day do you put something in your mouth that has an artificial sweetener in it? Oh,
well, I constantly have a cup of coffee next to me. People say to me on a regular basis, you drink too much coffee, or you're always drinking coffee, or I'm always running to the store to get one, or offering to get one for somebody else while I go. So more often than I care to admit.
Okay.
But yeah.
And Alicia, let me turn to you if I can. How long have you been using artificial sweeteners?
I've been using artificial sweeteners since high school. And like Renata, I struggled with my weight. And I always said, okay, let me do, instead of sugar, let me use this artificial sweetener, diet sodas. That's my thing.
Help me understand emotionally why you're so reliant on them. What are they giving you?
Sweet. I'm tasting this sweet, so it's helping me with my sweet tooth. Instead of, like she said, eating a cookie, I reach for that soda because I get that sweetness, and then I'm satisfied. I'm addicted. I'm totally addicted. I wake up, I have to have that diet soda. I just have to.
Well, I'll come back to that addiction concept in a moment because it's an important one. What's your biggest fear for being on so many artificial sweeteners?
You know, I wasn't fearful until now that you said that. I was fine with having my diet sodas, but now you'll teach me. You will.
Well, there have been rumors in the past, and what I could do today, if I can, is explain to you and give you an understanding at a visceral level what's happening in your body when you use artificial sweeteners, and then we can have a conversation about what risks are in there. Okay. Have you ever heard, either of you, of metabolic syndrome?
Not at all.
When I describe it, does it make sense to you? That
Yes.
big-bellied person that has high blood pressure and high blood sugar and high cholesterol?
Yes.
All right. They do travel together. And that's one of the things we're going to come back to. Let me show you with an animation what I think is happening inside your body when you take something in your body with an artificial sweetener. You take the sip, and there are taste buds, not just in your tongue, in your mouth, but also down through the swallowing tube, the esophagus, and all the way down here in the stomach as well. Now, that does two things. Those chemicals released from there will turn on the pancreas, which very specifically releases insulin and actually gets resistant to it. And even more importantly, it sends chemicals to the brain, to the addiction center of the brain, where the brain senses you got something sweet, satisfying, but it's too smart to be fooled. It knows you didn't get real sugar. So guess what it does? The craving center says, I need more. I want that real sugar fix that throughout human history we've been able to get inside of our bodies. So restated, and this is an important principle, it's a double whammy. All right? You get weight gain because, as I showed, the pancreas is releasing a lot of insulin. When that insulin spikes, it causes you get fat, and it also leads to insulin resistance, so your body won't listen to the pancreas anymore. So you got sugar levels all over the place. And the second part of that double whammy is that you get weight gain because you crave sugar. Even though you drank something that was sweet, your body's going to keep pushing you. You use that word addicted, Alicia?
Yes,
That's what ends up happening.
yes.
Right? And that part of the brain that we are reliant on, that addicts of other substances also have stimulated, gets stimulated in a similar way with sweets. Now, is that all making sense?
It does.
Okay, I hope that's helpful, because I think when we understand that, then we can start moving on. Because that little bit of heaviness in your midsection, as a physician, is a much bigger warning than just a cosmetic appearance from the outside. All right, now, this is an important point. When you have that midsection fat buildup, and you have the high blood pressure, and you have the cholesterol, and sometimes the diabetes that follows, it worries me, in particular because I know that just one soda a day with artificial sweeteners has been correlated to this metabolic syndrome. So you don't have to take very much to get there. So, second big question, because I promised I'd answer the big ones for you,
Okay.
and this is one that I suspect in the minds of some of the audience may be there, is do these artificial sweeteners cause cancer? Mm-hmm. Have you heard that rumor before,
Yeah.
Renata?
Yes.
Right. So I'll be clear on this also. The answer is no. That's good news. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't think that it causes cancer, and the data that we have to date would support that it directly does not. But that belly fat that I mentioned earlier, well, guess what? That belly fat that causes metabolic syndrome is also correlated with some big cancer risks, including colon, pancreas, endometrial, and even breast cancer, in particular in postmenopausal women. So if you're going to gain weight, which is what might be happening with these artificial sweeteners, then you're going to end up with a problem with the cancer risk from that weight by itself. So I just talked about artificial sweeteners. I've given you some insights about them. Is this all clicking for you a little bit?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All right, so here's the deal. When we come back, I'm going to reveal the other big health problems they may be causing, and believe me, you are not going to want to miss this.
Up next, are you plagued with digestive problems?
I get diarrhea.
Think it's from sugar substitutes?
I bet there are a lot of people who are hearing your voice right now and saying, that's exactly what I got.
And later, could artificial butter flavoring cause Alzheimer's?
Is that all truth or is it hype?
Dr. Oz has the facts. Stay with us.
I'm back, and we're talking about artificial sweeteners. Could they be making you sick? I've got big news today. Brand new information about what they're doing to your body. We have spent millions of dollars solving your digestive issues. Things like irritable bowel syndrome. But now we're learning could come down to the sugar substitutes that you're eating. And Angela's here, and if I can, I'm going to hear your story out a little bit. And I suspect that a lot of folks are going to find themselves in your story. So teach me a bit about your digestive habits.
Oh, Dr. Oz, it's so embarrassing. You're Dr. Pooh, so I feel I can tell you.
Thank you.
But I get diarrhea when I eat too much sugar, and I'm not exactly sure. Like, I've switched to the artificial, trying to make it better. I have such a sweet tooth. And I look for sugar everywhere. When the pop, the cookies, I'm constantly reaching for sugar. So in trying to alleviate some guilt, I go for artificial sweeteners, and it just gets me running.
So let me go back to the beginning. How many years ago did this all start?
I noticed it a few years ago. It started... Well,
3 years ago, 10 years ago?
I'd say about 2-3 years ago, maybe. Okay. I was eating some chocolates at my desk, and next thing I knew, let's just say, I know why they call it the runs. It crept up on me so fast, and I had all I could get out was my stomach, and I was making my way around to find some restrooms.
Yeah. And have you been able to correlate the specific foods that are doing this? You mentioned sugar in general. Is the artificial sugary foods, cookies, are there certain foods that push you over the edge?
I'm finding more the artificial that I get, that's when it gets going. I get the headache and the stomachache, but I really get the diarrhea from the artificial.
Right. Any fevers when you have that?
Oh, yeah. I get hot, I get cramps, I get bloating.
Right.
You
so
know,
your whole body's involved.
My whole body's involved.
All right. So there are some recent reports linking specific sugar substitutes to everyday digestive problems of the kind you're describing. And part of the reason I want to spend time on this today, besides the big health catastrophes that could happen from artificial sweeteners, is there are a lot of symptoms of the kind that you're describing. We're just not aware, but we don't pay attention to it. I bet there are a lot of people who are hearing your voice right now and saying, geez, that's exactly what I got. Now, these sugar substitutes, they're called sugar alcohols. Right? They're reduced calorie sweetener that gives food that flavor you want it to have, and all of that without any sugar. And you know what? There are chemicals in these low sugar substitutes that are critical. If you eat a lot of these diet processed foods, low sugar cookies, you mentioned chocolates, they have them in there sometimes, bars, a lot of gums have it in there.
Oh, yeah. I chew gum all the time.
You do. So those things could all push you over the top. Can I just show you what I'm talking about? Because I guess animation will make it very easy.
Okay.
And without using your body as an example, I take some of the embarrassment out of it. So these specific sugar substitutes may have caused diarrhea because when you eat something that has a sugar alternative in there, it goes into the intestine. As it floats through there, the bacteria in there begin to digest it because it's not absorbed by your body normally. The bacteria give off gases, and that creates a lot of flatus gas in you. Plus, the body starts to absorb a lot of fluids into the intestinal system because these sugars suck it in there. As all that water pours in there, it mixes with the gas from the bacteria, and that travels, that whole mishmash travels through your intestinal system, comes on the bottom. You can't stop it here because of these little sugar alcohols. In fact, what you're putting in your mouth with these sugar alcohols is really a laxative. It ends up working that way. It takes about 10 grams of these sugar alcohols to cause a problem. Now, what does that translate to in real people terms? It's 5 sticks of sugarless gum, not much, 5 sugar-free mints, a tablespoonful of sugar-free jam, half a sugar-free cookie. Half a cookie will get you there.
I'm already in trouble.
You're in trouble? Is that be part of your daily diet?
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the deal. I want you to understand what all these food sources are and the sugar alcohols they have. You asked me what these things are. The way you can tell they're in your food supply is it'll say ITOL. It'll be on the food label. The typical nutritional label will say this. The nutritional label will say something ITOL. For example, sorbitol.
Okay.
Sorbitol is found in sugar-free gums and candies. Maltitol is found in sugar-free baked goods like brownies and ice cream. You can find these typical sugars really easily now that you know what we're talking about. But again, just think about how they end ITOL, the last 4 letters.
Okay.
Sorbitol, maltitol, whatever they may be, will have those last 4 letters in there. So are you clear on how to identify it in your food?
Yes.
All right. Higher up on your food label that these alcohol is listed, the more of it there's in there.
Okay.
So if your favorite sugar-free cookie has got it right up there in the top couple ingredients, that might be why you run off to the bathroom like that. All right. So next time you go look at the food label, you're going to see these kinds of labels on there. You can all see it at home on the big screen. You're looking for that kind of ingredient as a warning sign. And the bottom line is if you notice you're having stomach problems, look at the labels and avoid eating foods that contain sugar alcohols. Now, we've covered digestive issues, but that's not the only problem you can run into. Up next, I'm going to reveal the unexpected symptom that you never could think was coming from artificial sweeteners. You're going to be surprised. Stay with us.
Coming up, the unexpected effect of artificial sweeteners.
You might be wearing